everyone, Jay's Nine Numbers here, and welcome back to another episode of the Political Freedom Fighters podcast. And in this episode, I am going to be interviewing another Libertarian for this podcast. This time, this Libertarian is running for NC Senate District 17. So with that being said, I want to introduce to all of you, Patrick Bowersox. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing awesome. Anyways, my first question is, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I work for Wake County School System. I am a head custodian / building steward, and dabble in politics a little bit on my free time.
All right, that's pretty awesome. Straight to the point. I like it. So anyways, let's talk about your history.
Well, this will be my, third time running for NC Senate 17. First time I got under 5. Last time I got 26.6%. And the second time I did not have a Republican opponent. It was just running against Sidney Batch, who is the Democrat. The Republicans are having a primary for their candidate, but I will be running against a Republican and a Democrat this time.
Alrighty, that's pretty awesome. So, why are you running for NC Senate District 17, and why Libertarian?
Well, I basically I'm running because I want to give people a choice who feel like they don't really fit into that Democrat-Republican box. And I think there are a lot of people who kind of dabble on both sides and aren't really on one side of the issue. And I feel like the two-party system kind of has this, you have to fit in the box to feel represented. And I want to give people another choice and kind of show a different way of doing things.
Alrighty, fair enough. So I guess since the Democrats do currently hold this seat, what is your opinion on the Democrats?
Sydney's been in there for a while. I've always had very, very good interactions with her. She's a pretty moderate Democrat from what she said, from a lot of her policies and everything. So I don't think she's would be considered very far left. It's certainly a very heavily blue district. So I tend to run more to the left as a Libertarian because that's just kind of where I came from. I'm definitely more on the left side of things. I would say fiscally I'm on the right, but socially I am definitely on the left.
Alrighty, fair enough. I'm glad you gave me your opinion on Sidney Batch. I guess let's talk about the Republicans. How do you feel about the Republicans?
Well, the Republicans kind of really, I didn't really have a strong relationship with my Republican opponent the first time. Didn't really know much about him and tried to interact with him a few times, but really to no avail. The Republicans tend to kind of run on a national agenda, and I don't necessarily know if that fits the needs of Wake County. I want to focus on local, and I really don't want to focus on things that are not in my control for the office I'm running. And that's pretty much my goal.
All right, fair enough. And since we are talking about the Republican candidates, it sounds to me like this district is a blue district. So why can't the Republicans win this race?
Because they don't run on local issues. They push a national agenda. At least that's my opinion. What the Republicans have done, and I think you have a lot of transplants in the area, and I think there are a lot of Northeast Republicans, Midwestern Republicans, kind of Republicans from out west who don't necessarily fit into the North Carolina Republican views. So you have a lot of transplants here, and not to say that there aren't Republican voters, but I don't necessarily always feel like they represent everybody who is on the right side of things.
Alrighty, fair enough. I like the fact that you're giving out quick answers, so this gives us a lot of time to go over your platform.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So anyways, you have 3 main priorities on your website: greater education opportunities for students and families, stronger economic potential for business and employees, and better healthcare options for patients and owners. I will go through each priority, and I will be going through each section of your priorities, like one section at a time, and and then you can respond to it.
Okay.
So, first up, we're going to be going over greater education opportunities for students and families. State education policy plays a prominent role in everyone's life. State education policy directly impacts the lives of North Carolina's 1.8 million K-12 students. Spending on education represents nearly $9.8 billion of our state budget. Our approach to education policy is vitally important to students, families, educators, and taxpayers. The decisions made by legislators and state agencies today, and the availability of the best public schools, charter schools, private schools, and tech learning centers will determine if students will be college and career ready tomorrow.
You got muted out there.
Oh, really?
I didn't hear the last. Yeah, I didn't hear the last few seconds of what you said.
Okay, the decisions made by legislators and state agencies today, and the availability of the best public schools, charter schools, private schools, and tech learning centers will determine if students will be college and career ready tomorrow.
Well, as far as education goes, I am an advocate. I think we need strong education everywhere. I think we need strong public education. We need strong charter schools, strong across the board, because we are producing the next generation who are going to be making decisions for us in the future. And my opinion is they all need to be strong. And we need to take a look and make sure that these kids are getting the best funding possible across all boards. And that's the answer I'm going to give on education. I think it's important that it's strong across the board.
Alrighty, fair enough. The next part of the next paragraph on your greater educational opportunities. Political solutions cannot adequately prepare students for tomorrow's world. Conventional school policy drives districts, schools, and teachers into solutions governed by politics and bureaucracy. It does not promote more personalized and effective learning environments or curricula. It holds back students wanting deeper academic challenges. It does not adequately serve children with special learning needs. Oh, that's very true. When politicians and public agencies play a more prominent role in shaping educational policy than students or families, we do not prepare those students for a diverse society or a dynamic economy.
Well, it goes back to, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution for everybody. And some kids thrive in the system, and some kids struggle. And it needs to be a solution that is going to be the most successful route for the kid. And that's basically we don't always find that solution. I feel, but it's important that the kid and the student is in the most successful environment possible, and that's what I'm for.
All right, that is actually pretty good to hear. Next one. Choice can create a dynamic, future-oriented education system. There is a better approach to cultivating opportunities for North Carolina students, families, and educators. This better approach focuses on the freedom to access options for student success. It includes the freedom to reward, engage teachers, and develop innovative instruction, and it allows for the freedom to enhance quality and performance while responsibly controlling cost. North Carolina can promote a dynamic, future-oriented educational system based on choice students and families need. Based on choice, students and families need choices among diverse, robust approaches. They need choices that promote high-quality and responsive educational environments. They need choices tailored to the needs of individual students and the future they face. We can achieve outstanding education policy for a better North Carolina with these choices.
Well, that comes back down to it needs to be strong across the board. All of your options need to be strong. And, when all of them are strong, you're going to have a better outcome.
Fair enough. Next, real, practical, effective solutions for education policy. Expand North Carolina's state-funded education savings account program to cover more students, allowing better education options for all students, especially students with special learning needs and families with financial hardships. Expand open enrollment within and between public school districts, allowing families to find their best school fit within the public school system without obtaining permission from their home district. Expand and fully fund the North Carolina Opportunity Scholarship Program, allowing greater access for all families, including those who lack the financial means to enroll their students in a private school. Refocus education funding by having tax dollars follow the student. Parents should not pay taxes for public schools while sending their children to alternative schools.
Well, it's very simple. It basically all of this kind of falls into my answer of strengthening across the board. If we focus strength across the board, we're going to have better outcomes, and that kind of these answers education all kind of fall back to my outcome of having strong education across the board. And when you have competition, you have strength, you're going to have better outcomes.
Fair enough. More competition and more choices does give people more opportunities to succeed. And I've always been curious, why do we need to have a savings account to fund North Carolina's education?
Well, that's I think it would be important to, especially with the cost of college and stuff nowadays. College is certainly getting out of price range and stuff. But I mean, I did like a program that Wake Forest University is doing, where North Carolina residents are eligible for free tuition and all that. Have you seen that? That Wake Forest University has done that for state residents?
I have not seen that. Tell me more about it.
Well, Wake Forest University is a private university, obviously, but they are offering free tuition to North Carolina residents, and I think that is that's a great start. And obviously, the North Carolina State and UNC are also doing that too, following suit. But I think it's a great start, particularly with the cost of education, colleges skyrocketing and everything. But basically, to fall back onto what I've said is, I think it's important for kids to be able to go to trade school too, because not everybody is going to want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher and stuff. Some people might want to be an electrician or a plumber, and have a pathway to that as well. To trade schools as well. So, and that it all kind of falls back to make everything stronger, and you're going to have better outcomes.
Fair enough. And I'm glad that you mentioned trade school too, because from what I've heard, that I heard that people are trying to get into more trade schools because the trades had been going down in the previous years. And yeah, it's pretty scary, because I've heard that the median age for a plumber or any job around that area is in their 50s or 60s, and that's pretty scary, considering that these are pretty important skills. Overall, we have and overall, a lot of us Gen Zers and a lot of the younger generations, we've all been taught that, oh, you must go to college. College is important, and college isn't for everyone, and even my parents fall for it too. And it really sucks because education, although it is important for some areas, it's not the answer to everything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Anyways, next up. Oh, did you have anything else to say?
No.
Alrighty then. Next up is stronger economic potential for businesses and employees. Tax policy and regulation influences business activity. We rely on corporations, small businesses, and entrepreneurs to drive our economy and support a better life for individuals and families across North Carolina. We need the jobs and industries that will propel us forward in the 21st century. We want an economic environment that benefits everyone in North Carolina. Our approach to tax policy and business regulation will determine if we will be a national and global economic leader.
Well, what I'd like to do is particularly, make communities, see if we can help to make communities more walkable, more accessible. Because, if communities aren't walkable and accessible and there isn't parking and commerce, businesses will not thrive and people will go other places. So we want to make our communities walkable. We want to make our communities, have accessible parking, have easy ways to get there. So accessibility is key to a lot of the businesses thriving, particularly on Main Street and in small towns. And if we could, see if we can loosen some of the unneeded restrictions that go on. I can't speak to every town what they have, but if we can just try to loosen the burden for some of these small business owners so they can have their business and be successful and have good accessibility to get to their business, whether it be walking or parking or you name it, depending on the location.
All right, fair enough. Next, politically influential interests work together with government to limit opportunity. When government oversteps its regulatory or taxing bounds, politically influential special interests determine the shape of those rules. Politicians and agencies, despite good intentions, create a situation that benefits established, well-connected interests and prevents better ideas and unique solutions from developing. When we ask bureaucrats to define how our economy can grow, we deprive ourselves of the potential for innovative businesses to imagine the products and services of tomorrow.
Well, that comes down to being able to try to loosen some of the restrictions. Now, you can't control every municipality aspect, but you can try to work with those municipalities to try to loosen some of the restrictions. Now, I can only, in Senate 17, handle things on a county level. I can't handle everything on a local town level. But we can try to work with some of those towns to try to look and see if there's some unnecessary permits and legislations that are needed and try to loosen the burden for those small business owners.
All right, fair enough. What are the obstacles that small business owners have to face when opening up a business?
Well, there's all kinds of permits, and the rent costs go up, and then a lot of the accessibility problems. You look at some of these, particularly downtown Apex. They're redoing the entire Salem Street area. They're digging it up, and those businesses are suffering, and they still have to pay their rent. And just the traffic being able to get there, and communities that aren't walkable. I mean, if you live in a community and you're within walking distance somewhere and it's not walkable, what are you going to do? You're going to get in your car and go somewhere else that is accessible, right? So I would say the basic things is we're being able to make things. Accessibility is the key to everything, and you can work with the municipalities and the towns in the Senate seat and see if you can get them to have a pro-business mentality.
All right, fair enough. Choice can open doors to greater economic potential and better options. A better approach to policy will lead to stronger economic potential for everyone in North Carolina. This approach is based on the freedom for individuals, businesses, and entrepreneurs to explore innovative ways to participate in the economy. It includes the freedom for owners, employees, and professionals to strengthen today's established businesses and create the innovative businesses of tomorrow. And it opens the door for people to engage in personally and financially rewarding occupations. North Carolina can promote the type of prosperity generating economy that invites everyone to share in its potential and income mobility. Businesses and entrepreneurs need the choices that allow for better ways to serve customers and employees. Individuals need the choice to define the work environment that meets their personal needs, and consumers need the ability to make choices about their own economic activity. With more choices to personalize and innovate, we can promote a stronger, more dynamic, future-looking economy that supports everyone in North Carolina.
Well, like I said, my answers are very simple. I mean, if we can hit all those things to try to help the businesses, and like I said, that not everything is within our control, because if we want to make a direct impact on the community, the council seat would be the best option, right? But if we can work within the municipalities and the towns to try to help along, and communicate with the business owners, ask them what their struggles are, because that's the way we'll find out. Have conversations. Go into your local town. Talk to the coffee shop owner. Talk to a restaurant owner. Talk to the boutique shop owner. Find out the struggles that they're having and the obstacles that they're having. And that's how we get and solve those problems. And not everything is a one size fits all, right? But not everybody's going to have the same struggle in every town. But that would be my goal, is opening up the board, having conversations with these business owners and figuring out what their struggles are and seeing what I can do to help if I'm elected, because that's my job. My job is to listen and help and try to offer reasonable solutions. And I want to work with both Republicans and Democrats on what we want to solve and what we agree on. And there's going to be some stuff that we don't agree on. But I want to try to find common ground with everybody.
Fair enough. Real, practical, effective solutions for economic policy. Eliminate or reduce state occupational licensing requirements that simply represent financial protection and do not perform a critical role in vital public safety, opening economic doors for millions in North Carolina. Eliminate restrictions that force business relationships between private parties, such as those between North Carolina's craft brewers and distribution middlemen, allowing these businesses to grow in ways that best serve their owners and customers. Lower the costs and regulations for starting a new business, enabling entrepreneurs and small business owners to follow their dreams and create the great North Carolina businesses of tomorrow. Strengthen the ability of property owners to meet the growing needs of our expanding and changing population through unique residential configurations that allow for small dwellings and affordable housing. Support the sharing economy and the ability for individuals to define the way they utilize their time and property for their own economic benefit.
Well, that basically comes down to having the conversations with the business owners and having the conversations with the people in the community and figuring out what those struggles are within those communities. And like I said, not everybody's going to have the same struggles, but if we could figure out what the struggles are, and if we know what they are, we could try to work to solve those struggles. And it's not everything is going to have the same solution.
Alrighty, fair enough. Next up, better healthcare options for patients and providers. State regulation impacts the quality and accessibility of healthcare options. Access to high-quality, affordable healthcare is a critical concern in everyone's life. We want the rapid pace of innovation and adoption that has cured diseases and delivered world-class treatments. We also want a system that is within the reach of everyone in North Carolina. With state regulation controlling every aspect of health delivery, legislative and bureaucratic policy play a major role in the quality, access, and affordability of our healthcare system.
Well, I think choice in healthcare is big. I mean, if you want to go see a homeopathic dentist, you should have the right to go see a homeopathic dentist. But a lot of healthcare plans won't allow you to do that. You have to go see somebody or pay out of pocket for it and hope that you get reimbursed by your insurance company, right? And there should be options for. I just actually recently got a surgery. I got my tonsils taken out in December, and I have a pretty good healthcare plan working for the state, but I still had to pay $3,000 out of pocket, and I got 4 separate bills. And I have good insurance that covers 75%, 80% of it, and I still had, and I didn't hit my deductible. So a lot of these healthcare plans are penalizing you for not going to the doctor a lot. And I mean, I do understand. I do understand that, we have gaps, but, I feel like if we kind of expand the choice and you have to get referrals to go see specialists and everything, we could somehow kind of remove some of those barriers. So, and I think it would lower cost a lot for people and allow people the choice to, and like I said, it's not a one size fits all. Going and seeing a regular doctor may not work for you. You may be better off seeing a homeopathic doctor. You may have better results. And I can't speak for every single person, right? Nobody can. And you have to do what's right for you and right for your health.
Exactly. And, last year I actually had to go to the dentist to get my wisdom teeth removed. And it actually cost like all over $1,500. Now, keep in mind, this does not include all the previous visits that I've actually had to get to remove some cracked teeth, basically getting x-rays, and basically getting my teeth cleaned and all that. And that stuff adds up.
Oh, yeah, it does.
And I didn't even have health insurance, so I had to pay like the full pockets.
Yep.
So anyways, next up, political solutions do not put the patient at the center of decision-making. Healthcare policy that removes the patient from the center of the decision-making process introduces incentives that do not align with the goals of providing high-quality, accessible, affordable care. For too long, politicians, bureaucrats, and special interests have been making the decisions that should be made by the people and families whose lives who are directly affected. But even when people can make decisions around health options, state law often stands in the way of healthcare providers offering innovative services.
Well, it comes down to allowing more choice for people. Allow you to choose your outcome. Choose how you want to solve the problem. If you want, like I said, if you want to go see Eastern medicine, homeopathic doctor, herbal medicine, you should have that option. You should have that choice. Why are you paying for insurance if you can't make the choice where you want to go, right? How are you supposed to stay healthy if you're not receiving the best option, right?
Fair enough. Next, choice can create a high-quality, accessible, affordable healthcare system. There is a better approach to developing healthcare options for people throughout North Carolina. This approach is based on the freedom for individuals and families to make personal decisions about what options meet their individual healthcare needs. It creates stronger relationships between patients, doctors, and healthcare specialists. And it incorporates the incentives that introduce innovation, serve more of our communities, and bring down the cost of care. North Carolina can promote a high-quality, accessible, affordable healthcare system based on choice. Individuals and families need the choices that address their lifestyle and care needs. They need the choice to find the healthcare options that meet their meet their health management goals. They need the choices that introduce incentives to drive down cost while maintaining quality. With more choice to define healthcare options, we can promote a healthcare system that achieves better care outcomes in North Carolina.
Well, that comes down to it's not a one size fits all. Nothing is a one size fits all for everybody. Everybody has different needs and has different needs for healthcare, different needs for dental care, all that stuff, everything across the board. So allow people to use the outcome that best suits them. And I think if we can do that, I think you're going to drive the cost down because you're going to have healthier people.
Fair enough. Real, practical, effective solutions for healthcare policy. Transition the current Medicaid direct payment model to a state-funded health savings account, giving people more flexibility in defining the healthcare options that better serve their individual circumstances. Eliminate anti-competitive and protectionist certificate of need laws that hamper the growth and affordability of healthcare services, especially in rural and disadvantaged urban communities. Address the state licensing roadblocks preventing innovative healthcare delivery options such as direct primary care, telemedicine, and out-of-state licensed doctors providing charitable care. Repeal laws and regulations that mandate or prohibit any type of healthcare, medication, vaccination, or medical care or treatment. Decriminalize medical cannabis. Modern medical research indicates that this natural substance effective valley alleviates pain, nausea, and other symptoms associated with several debilitating medical conditions.
Well, I'm going to jump into the legalization of cannabis and hemp. That because I think that's going to cover more. What I'm saying here is, a lot of the opioid problem. I think we could solve a lot of the opioid addiction and overprescription of opioids if we allow people to choose if they want to use hemp or cannabis therapy, and that's the biggest thing. And you're going to expand options for medicine, options for healing, and try to the opioid crisis is just. It's not a problem just in North Carolina. It's a problem across the country, and opioids work for some people. Opioids don't work for some people, and like I said, it comes down to the one size fits all answer. Opioids might work for you, but they might not work for me, or they might not work for someone else. So allow for that option for hemp and cannabis. To be an option for healing.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, I agree with that. Anyways, with that being said, that actually covers it for the platform on your website. Is there anything else that you want to add to your platform?
Well, basically, I want to jump in and say that if I get elected, I want to, work across both sides of the aisle to come to solutions for people in North Carolina. The partisan games have got to stop in politics, and we have to find common ground with one another and try to find solutions. We are there to serve our people. We're not there to serve the public and the private interests of our parties, of our agendas. We are there to serve the people of North Carolina. And if we can't serve the people of North Carolina and find solutions for people, then what is our purpose of even running, right?
Yeah, I would totally 100% agree with you. So, since we still got some time left, tell me more about NC Senate District 17.
Well, it has always been a strongly blue district, for sure. It basically covers a lot of Cary, Holly Springs, into Fuquay-Varina. as well, and some of Apex. Basically, almost on the 55 corridor. I don't know if you're familiar with this part of Wake County at all.
I'm not.
Well, it covers pretty much through downtown Apex, almost through one side of Fuquay, and goes through Holly Springs and splits in Holly Springs. It's obviously it's, so to speak, one of the all the districts are pretty much gerrymandered, unfortunately. But it's certainly going to be a little bit more challenging this time, having a Republican opponent thrown into the race. It was certainly certainly do not have the funds that the two parties do have. So I have to do a lot more legwork and get out there and have conversations with people. And I plan to go to the farmers market in Apex and the farmers market in Holly Springs and have conversations with to be my constituents and find out what their struggles are and find out what their concerns are about what's going on in Wake County and see if I can find common ground solutions. And yes, I am a libertarian, but I can meet in the middle and find solutions if it's for the greater good for my constituents.
That's awesome, man. And I guess since I have nothing else left to talk about for your platform, how is the campaign going?
Well, it's I'm waiting because the Republicans are having a primary, so I kind of have to sit back and gauge who my Republican opponent is going to be. I don't know what to expect because I don't know if their tone's going to change after the primary or if they're going to stay the same. So it's kind of the waiting game to see who my two opponents will be. I know what to expect from Senator Batch. So and I hope I can continue to keep a friendly dialogue with her. She's always been nothing but pleasant in my conversations with her. And hopefully I can form the same kind of pleasant dialogue with my Republican opponent. And at the end of the day, it's just an opinion. I mean, we can be civil to one another, even if we don't agree on all the issues, and that's important to me to remain civil and not play this banter that you see so much.
Fair enough. And you're not even the first libertarian to say that about your incumbent opponent. You and some of the other libertarians who are running against Democratic incumbents, you guys are lucky, man. You guys are lucky to be able to have that communication with your Democratic incumbents in your state government. I've actually attempted to get into contact with my Republican incumbents in the North Carolina state government, and I've gotten no response. So, man, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, the Democrats, I have to give it to the Democrats, have always been very respectful, and even in House races I've helped out. Travis Grew, Travis and I have run in parallel districts. He's been in the House seat, and his Democratic opponent, I've always had pleasant conversations with them, and and I have a friendship with Allison Dahl. She's always been nothing but pleasant to me, and Julie Von Hafen as well. So, I mean, I may not agree with them on everything, but I've always had pleasant dialogue with them.
That's awesome. And I have interviewed Travis Grew, for those of you that are watching. I believe Travis Grew is running for U.S. House District.
Yes, he is.
Yes. And and he was expected to get in. There was plans for an independent named John Rogers, who was planning on running, but unfortunately he wasn't able to get enough signatures. So Travis Grew is going to be the only third party option in his race. So with that being said, Do you have plans on making a YouTube channel?
I don't know yet. I'm just like I said. I think we're gonna see how it goes, the primary goes, and kind of gauge and figure out who my opponents are. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but we're just gonna have to see because I want to gauge where all my opponents are before I kind of jump into that.
All right, fair enough. Since we actually still have quite a significant amount of time left, let's go over some fun questions and answers, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
So, what's your favorite food?
Well, I actually went to culinary school, so I'm kind of a foodie. I grew up in Connecticut, so I am big on New Haven style pizza. But I kind of dabble all over. I like everything from a good burger to pizza to Mexican food, Tex-Mex. Like to create recipes. Definitely like to cook at home. So I'm kind of all over the place. So I'm pretty easy to please food wise.
That's awesome. So what's your favorite drink?
Well, I don't drink alcohol, so I would say I'm a big. I enjoy matcha. Like coffee, but I drink my matcha and coffee straight. I don't put anything in it. I drink it. Don't add sugar or cream or anything. Yeah. So I mean. I like to. I'm kind of all over the place with that too. So I'm not a real picky eater or picky drinker. So I enjoy tea, coffee, basically good smoothie once in a while. So
okay, fair enough. What's your favorite movie?
Well, I am a big Paul Newman fan. The actor Paul Newman. Love his movies, and I started a few years ago getting into older movies. And my mom's was a big Paul Newman fan too. So I got into like Cool Hand Luke, Color of Money, Nobody's Fool, Slapshot, and just Paul Newman as an actor, and just as Paul Newman as a human being. He just was a treasure, and just to see how he spoke up, particularly in support of the GSM, the GSM community when it wasn't very popular, and Paul Newman was just a good humanitarian and a great actor too. So he has my respect on so many levels. May he rest in peace.
Rest in peace to him. What's your favorite place to travel to?
I like to go to the mountains. Definitely like to find a good trail and hike. So I'm a big mountain person, but I like to just see new places, go places I've never been before, and kind of discover. I've never been to Vancouver. I'd love to go to Vancouver. I hear it's beautiful.
Fair enough. So, the Super Bowl happened not too long ago. How do you feel about this? What happened with the Super Bowl this year?
The game?
Yeah, the game and everything else related to the Super Bowl.
Well, first off, the Super Bowl, I got to tell you, the two teams, it's been nothing. I'm not a fan of either team, and I don't really like or dislike either team. So it was kind of like one of those Super Bowls where I really just did not have an interest. And if I hadn't gotten invited to a party, I honestly wouldn't have watched it. As far as the halftime show goes, hey, you know what? I thought he did a good job. I thought it was a very well performed halftime show. And hey, you know what? I commend him. I thought he did a good job.
Oh yeah, speaking of the halftime show, I think there was I believe one of that Spanish songwriter, I forgot what his name was. Apparently the Trump
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Bad Bunny. Apparently Trump wanted to investigate him for I forgot what it was, but probably some BS claim about him being non-American or whatever. It was completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna hold my tongue on that one. I'm not gonna comment on President Trump. I got my own personal feelings about him, but I'm not gonna comment.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, the Winter Olympics. As of this video is recording, the Winter Olympics is still going on. By the time this video gets posted, it will already be past. So, how do you feel about the Winter Olympics?
Well, I saw the U.S. girls hockey team won, so congrats to them. And the men are doing well as well. I saw the Finns put up quite a fight against Canada today. They did pretty well. But the Finnish hockey team seems to always be in the mix. They always seem to be consistently in the hunt for a medal. So people are like, oh, I kind of talked to some of my friends and said Canada needs to be careful today because the Finns are going to give them a game. And I sure enough wound up being right. The Finns gave them a good game.
Wow, that's awesome. Oh yeah, during the ice skating the competition of the Winter Olympics, apparently there was quite a bit of controversy going on with the French team winning and the American team getting second place, and a lot of people thought that the French team made quite a number of mistakes, and they thought that the judge was being biased.
I honestly, I worked during the day, so I did not see it. So I'm gonna have to check it out and see what you're talking about. I didn't see it. I only saw the end of the Finnish game over highlights. I didn't see it, and a couple people were talking about it, and I obviously saw the half of the second period and the third period of the United States game today. So, the hockey game.
All right, fair enough. Let's see what else is there what else can I talk about? Let's see here. What else can we talk about? So let's talk more about your job.
Yes.
So, you work in the education field. So, what do you do? Give us more detail about that.
Well, I'm a custodian in elementary school, so it's great. I've got the little guys and little girls, and they're. I basically am called the superhero. So I come handle calls, and the kids are great. I get high fives and fist bumps all day, and say, hey, Mr. Patrick. So I have a job. I work with a lot of really good people. So that's the day goes by really quick when you work with good people.
Fair enough. I noticed that your last name is Bowersox. I found it as to be one of the most interesting last names out there. Where does that come from?
It's from Germany. It basically means the farmer from Saxony. So it's been anglicized, obviously. The original spelling is Bauersauch. But yeah, it's been anglicized. So there's still a lot of people who there's all different kinds of spellings. It's been anglicized. There's Bowers, there's Bauer, there's Bowerson, there's Bowersox. There's people who spell it the old way, people who spell it the new way, people who spell it with an SOX, people who spell it son. There's Bowers, Bauer, all kinds. So.
Alrighty, fair enough. let's see what else is there to talk about. Oh yeah, apparently there's this Twitch streamer named Emaru who apparently got canceled for not wanting to get involved in politics, and people were mad.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, apparently Emaru is like a famous Twitch streamer who basically streams on Twitch. She's very popular, and last year she actually ended up getting assaulted by a fellow YouTuber by the name of Miskiv, and during that same year she was actually assaulted by a fan during TwitchCon, and 2025 was rough for her, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very, very rough. I actually made like a 2-hour episode discussing about both situations of Emaru. So, yeah, yeah, that was.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it'll be in my podcast already if you want to check it out. And yeah,
I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, and Emaru made a comment earlier because some people wanted to wanted her opinions on ICE. They basically wanted her to say F ICE, and she didn't want to give out an opinion because she didn't want to talk about politics. And people were mad. She apologized, and people were still mad at her.
I can't blame some people. I mean, it can be a tough thing, and I can understand people's apprehension about talking about politics completely.
Anyways, what has been the best adventure in your life?
That is a very good question. Well, I have a goal. I want to hike Pilot Mountain, so that would be probably one of. I like to challenge myself, so I like to find new trails and new hikes that kind of challenge myself, so to speak. So that would be my that. Can it be a goal for the future?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's my that would be one of my individual goals.
Okay. What are your other goals?
Well, I would like to see if I could break that 26% vote record if I could. It's going to be tough, but if I can do that, that'd be a nice cherry on top. But it's going to be tough. But nothing worth doing nothing that's worth doing is always easy, right?
Right, exactly. So I guess really, how do you plan on appealing to Democrats?
Well, that's I think if I can find out what's important to Democrats in this district and offer solutions, and it's the same way I would appeal to Republicans. I want to be able to find solutions. I want to show that hey, we can vote someone in who can find common ground and kind of end a lot of the gridlock that's happening in politics. So my appeal to Democrats would be similar to my appeal with Republicans.
All right, fair enough. Have you ever recruited anyone to join the Libertarian Party?
Well, we actually ran Travis and I ran Joe Jorgensen's presidential campaign in 2018. So we recruited quite a few people into the Libertarian Party. So, quite a few people. So
that is awesome. What would be your advice on how to recruit people to join your party?
Basically, try to find what's important to them and offer them solutions, and offer them options, and listen to people. That's the biggest thing to bring people in, because everybody's concerns are different. Not everybody. You're not going to win everybody with every one of your arguments, but find out what issues and causes are important to people and have those discussions.
Alrighty, fair enough. What else can we talk about? Oh yeah, the temperatures are finally starting to warm up after this heavy winter storm we had.
I love it. I am an outdoors person. I am not all about being shuttered in, so I couldn't be happier.
Fair enough. I mean, I have not been paying a lot of attention on foreign policy lately, but last time I checked, some wars are still going on. There's been talks about some peace deal in Ukraine, but I'm not fully sure where that's going.
I'm not getting into that stuff. I'm running for North Carolina Senate. I'll leave the national stuff to the federal politicians.
Fair enough. What else can we talk about? I believe earlier you mentioned about like walkable cities. How do we make our cities walkable?
Well, we got to make sure sidewalks are finished. Greenways are accessible, and if we have developers and they promise to finish sidewalks, we got to hold those developers accountable, and not take off when the houses are done and have incomplete sidewalks. So it's all about accountability and making sure that people are accountable for what they say they're going to do, right?
Right, and now that you said that, this next question I'm going to ask you. I've never really asked anyone before, so you're the first person I've ever asked about on this. What's your opinion on pothole vigilantes?
On what?
Pothole vigilantes.
Well, you mean like people who fix potholes?
Yes.
I have no problem with it. I mean, hey, if it's going to make the community more drivable and more accessible, and I'm all for it. If it makes the roads better and everything, if it's for the greater good of the community and it fixes a problem, I'm in support of it.
Yeah, I'm very much in favor of pothole vigilantes because I actually live in a cul-de-sac, and I actually there was actually a pothole in front of my house for around a couple of decades, and it wasn't until like some individual fixed it. It wasn't even the government who fixed it, because our road is basically like gravel rock, not like the roads that are used in like the highways. So yeah, I like pothole vigilantes.
Hey, there you go. Well, hey, my iPad battery is low, so it may die pretty soon. So I don't want to get cut off with you, but I just wanted to give you a warning. If I go out, my battery's about to die.
Oh, no problem. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or?
I think we're good. I mean, obviously, if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me, and I'm certainly willing to have another conversation with you if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, with that being said, that's going to be it for the Political Freedom Fighters podcast. If y'all have enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button down below and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that way you can all be notified on any new episodes of the Political Freedom Fighters podcast. I will be linking all of Patrick's social media in the description below, just in case you all want to check them out for yourself. And Patrick, I'll send you the link to the Emeru episode on my podcast just so you can get some more context as to what I'm talking about with Emeru. And with that being said, I hope you all have enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Peace.
Have a great weekend.
You too.